It looks like it's the appointed hour. We'll call the meeting to order for January 10th, 2023, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's get some bigger chairs, aren't we?
We're going to have to.
Chief. Good evening, everybody. Once again, it's good to have everybody out on a live meeting again, so that's great. Okay, first order of business, reading and approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting dated December 13th, 2022.
I move that we approve the minutes of December 13th, 2022.
All righty. Do we have a second? We have a motion and second to approve the December 13th, 2022 minutes. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed like a Mike's with a like sign. Hearing none, that is approved. I think I don't think we have any news on number 3, do we, Billy, on the supplemental resolution for the pension funding bonds?
No, sir. The interest rate environment is still not conducive to us moving forward with that.
Right. I did see a note from Rob Steptoe today. I guess he's monitoring that pretty closely, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Mayor, on that subject there, it's been on the minutes, on the agenda 3 or 4 times. Can we take that off the agenda, and then when we do decide to bring it back up, we could have a workshop on that before we vote on anything?
I don't have any problem. I mean, we've discussed whether it should stay on or not. I think just, in my opinion, it shows folks that we're, it's still a live issue, and we are monitoring, but if there's, I have no problem taking it off. Do you see any problem, Billy or Mr. Fowle?
No, sir. If there's no action anticipated for a meeting, I would suggest we probably remove it.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, award bid for the Outdoor Economic Development Master Plan.
Mayor, the only bid submitted for an outdoor economic development plan was submitted by Destination by Design. Depending upon the amount and level of services desired by the city, the bid amount could range anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 all the way up to $337,000. It's cerebral work, it's stuff on paper. We recommend that the bid be accepted with the understanding that council will review and approve each successive step in the process going forward.
Okay.
So, and that is a motion.
Okay.
And if I would call upon Corey Lilly to describe to everybody what this entails.
Yes, this entails, we had a workshop about this with Destination by Design and the Outdoor Economic Development Collaborative. Yes, we had a workshop about this with Destination by Design and the Outdoor Economic Development Collaborative from WVU. And this plan is a strategic plan to address the needs of becoming a gateway city to the newest national park.
If you call it was Eric Wooldridge who made the presentation at the workshop.
Eric Woolridge.
And he is I guess a Mingo County gentleman initially, I think, isn't he?
From Welch.
From,
yes.
okay, from McDowell County. And this consulting firm seems to specialize in small to medium-sized cities, and we're right in their wheelhouse, and they've had several good success stories, right?
Yes, absolutely. They are at the intersection. They're unique because they're at the intersection of downtown revitalization, economic development, outdoor recreation, and place branding, all of which is what we need. And they focus on communities that are below 50,000 in population and above 4,000, and they've done work all through Western North Carolina and up and down the East Coast.
Right. Very good. Mr. Fowle, do you see any issue with the way Mrs. Hunter's described the going forward to approve each expenditure as we move ahead?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. So that's in the form of motion to accept the
Yes.
bid as presented? Okay, do we have a second on that? We have a motion and a second to approve the bid as described by Mrs. Hunter and Corey Lilly. And we will we have a motion and a second. Call for a vote on this. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed by a like sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Next, award of bid for the refurbishment of tennis courts at New River Park and covering some of the tennis courts to convert to pickleball courts. So, okay.
There were 3 bids submitted for the pickleball court refurbishment. One bid was disqualified because it was improperly submitted. Of the 2 remaining bids, the bid for exterior services met all the specs and was the lowest bid at $64,307. After discussion, it was determined that the bid should be awarded to exterior services, and that's in the form of a motion.
Okay, do we have a second to that motion?
Second?
Okay, just in way of discussion, the one bid, as I understand it, was disqualified, did not follow the proper specifications, and it wasn't sealed. It was actually delivered in a manila folder, so we had to observe that protocol. So, all righty. So we have a motion and a second to approve the bid for the tennis courts as presented. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by a like sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Looks like we're down to old business. Leslie Hunter has crafted an ad to attract a swimming pool manager. So we'll follow up on that, I guess, in the next few weeks, right?
Well, hopefully, yeah, very soon.
Okay, very good.
I gotta get with Shirley about some things, but yes.
Okay, good. Sherry, did you want to make an announcement on either
Yes.
your recycling?
Yes, I
or-
do. The Solid Waste Authority assisted the cities of Charleston and South Charleston with developing a recycling flyer. Thank you, Bill Kelly. Bill, and with the permission of cities of Charleston and South Charleston, this is exactly what we accept at the recycling center. So this will be on our website. So it shows step by step the proper way to recycle, what you do and what you don't. And so thank you, Bill Kelly, for doing that this afternoon. Then we're going to think about a way, I would love for everybody to have a copy of this. I don't know whether we can make that possible through a mailer or through the sanitary board or in some form or fashion. Councilman Sofer had a suggestion that it's the beginning of the year, we could have this information on one side, but then the calendar on the other. A lot of people don't have the ability to print this out at home, and it's a color copy, so at some point, we'll determine how we can get this in the hands of everybody.
Well, at our office, we don't have the ability to color copy either, unless
Okay.
we use our printer.
Okay?
But putting the calendar on the back is great.
It's a, yeah. So,
Very good. Any other comments?
In the meantime, even if we, if the recycling truck drivers would, as they emptied the boxes, they could throw one in there, like,
That's what they do with calendars here.
yes.
Um,
But maybe that won't happen until next year,
yeah.
because you've already given your calendars out.
The
But
ones that call in that didn't receive the calendar, we can go ahead and send it with that.
Mayor, would it be possible to submit this in the envelopes with the sanitary board? Bill?
I think that's a Jeremiah Johnson question. I don't
Okay.
personally see any problem with it.
Okay. I don't know whether that would change the rate of their flyer, their
Shouldn't-
mailing or
no,
whatever.
Shouldn't, I
but-
wouldn't think.
Maxwell
Okay.
Hill only gets a bill from the sanitary board for stormwater.
Because you're on North Beckley.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll discuss that with Jeremiah.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you, Bill Kelly.
We've gotten good news on the Hartley Hunter Hager Little League Pinecrest
Yes.
project.
To see that in writing.
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming. 40 years. That's right, or longer. So, Billy, do you have any update on the mechanics of that at this point?
We have been awarded a grant or an earmark in excess of $4 million to pursue that. It will be, there's still a lot of paperwork to do before we can actually get hold of the funds. And there's a match that is involved with it, but it looks like as soon as we get the paperwork done and get everything squared away, get the engineering done, we should be able to do something. So it's not going to happen tomorrow, but the money's there, you know, and we will, you know, get it done. So it may be a few months before we actually,
Yeah.
but the
We
money's
appreciate
there,
your
and
support
that's
and
an
helping-
outstanding.
helping coordinate some of our meetings. So, thank you. Okay, anything else from any member of council under old business?
I have one thing under old business.
All righty.
It was about 6 months ago, and Leslie and I spoke about, and this whole panel did, about up on Maxwell Hill, like the community center to like build a new building and all. And I was kind of wondering where the plans were, or if there were any plans on that. Yes.
Sure.
We had the conversation today, did we not, Bill?
Yes, we did.
We did not get the earmark this year, but Princeton did. They're a smaller community, and they got a different pot of money, one that they have to have a greater match. We think that our chances are even better, and Billy just okayed today for me to, Angela's going to talk to one engineering firm, and I'm going to talk to another one about getting some real plans, because we hurried so quickly last time that what we submitted was not as good as we could possibly do the next time around. But that is, once Freedom is very well moving along, when spring comes, we'll be able to finish the refurbishment over there. We feel like that the earmarks would look more favorably on the community center than it would on the skate park. So we're going to really bring that together, and we're going to put a nice community center up there with a new shelter and new playground equipment. It's all going to be in the.
Thank you so much. I just didn't want to
Oh, no, we're not.
be forgotten.
No, we're not
because
forgetting
That's the only
you.
park
And
in
we
our.
so desperately, a community our size, we truly need a community center, much better than the one that we have at Maxwell Hill. The one at Maxwell Hill is utilized almost every weekend, and if we had something a whole lot nicer, we could do so much more. So it'll be, if the earmarks go out soon, then we never find out about them until late summer, right?
It'll be a lot later than that.
Okay.
We should, the best way to be successful with earmarks is get them in before everybody else does, which will be in the next month and a half. And then we will find out something when the appropriations bill is passed. That will be at the very earliest, if they all agree, in October. So we won't know until October or past October whether the money has been appropriated or the earmark has been approved. We didn't know about the Hunter Street one because of the delay in funding, in passing the funding bill, and it took, you know, it was just come through just a little while ago.
I saw it in the paper, I was on.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be, we'll find out about the money in 2023, and then once we have, or somewhere around in then, and then we can start on the whole total plan in 2024. So maybe it'll be done by 2025 or 6. But
Okay.
you know yourself, it takes a while.
Well, you know, just the playground equipment up there is like archaic. I believe, Rob, you might have played on that.
I probably did, yeah. Used to get dizzy on the merry-go-round.
That's right. Got thrown off and got some scuff marks, didn't you?
Did, use a lot of wax paper on the slicky slide.
Maxwell Hill is not as old as some of the other ones in town that are getting taken care of before yours, though. But
We're always last.
You're on the list.
At least I'm on the list.
Any, do you have any comments on,
No, we're gonna, I'm gonna let that slide.
okay.
Yours is already, yours is already bought.
We don't tell everything right now.
Yeah. It's actually, I think, and maybe Mr. Kelly can give us an update on that. Under old business, the sign for municipal court and IT.
Yes, sir. The Public Works actually came up and installed a 3-panel sign for the Beckley, Mount Hope Airport. It is a high-quality group of 3 signs. We've set it just at the entrance on a little knoll as you turn into the municipal court and IT building. And it looks great. We've got it set so that if you are actually looking at and reading the information on the sign, that you see the closet in front of you, and so you see what you're looking at where the airport is.
Okay, now the building itself that Farah looked at, is that the sign you're referring to? Or is that
Oh, no. This is the sign,
the historic marker?
The Cole Heritage.
Right.
sign.
the Cole Heritage.
Now, on the Farah sign that I think you had pretty well decided to mount on the building itself?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the building sign, they've got the letters ordered for that. We're just waiting. I think they were looking at by the end of January to get those in. So what we'll have on that will be on the side facing the roadway. It will say that, it's the City of Beckley Network and Data Center, Municipal Court, and then as you turn into the facility and you pull up, and there will also be another sign there, similar to lettering, but on the left it says Network and Data Center, Municipal Court. So people know that's where they're at. They can see it as they drive past. One of the problems we have is people drive past and they know it's there.
Right.
And they see the building. Even we put a big orange sign up there, somehow miss that. But I think if you look at the building and they're looking for something on that, they see that. Or also, there was there used to be an address, that said 169 Industrial, that office letter was 169. We're also getting that replaced as well, so you can see the street address.
Good, good. Well, the rendering I thought was really handsome, and I like the idea. I personally like the idea of mounting it on the building as opposed to a freestanding
So I
sign.
think it's going to look great, but as you mentioned, the rendering that he had of that looked beautiful, and there are those 2 sections. They've also got a little small one that goes beside the main entrance, so they know that that's the main entrance. There's some confusion with that. It can be a little confusing to people when they first come in. We have a lot of traffic out there now at Municipal Court. We've changed the times. The court now is in the afternoon. A lot of people feel like they can come to that. Of course, we're also getting a lot of, we can take payments online. People can plead guilty online and make their payments online. So we get a lot of people that do that. But some people just like to come in to the court. So
Right.
a lot of traffic.
Your department's done a great job streamlining what had been a half-a-century-old problem on municipal court collections. So you all have done a great job.
Well, it is a team effort. My people, our court staff, Amy has been directing the court. Mr. Powell, the work that he does, the municipal judge, we've got an excellent municipal judge, one of the best we've ever had.
Good.
So I think everybody works really well together. It's a good location. The process is working well. The police department, they get people out there to help with court security. It's really a unified and coordinated effort that's worked excellent. So,
Great, great. Well, you are doing a great job. Thank you. Anything else under old business from a member of council?
It's not really old, it's kind of new.
Okay.
I heard on the radio, Citizens Police Academy getting ready to start up again in March, a 10-week course. That's an unbelievable program. You don't look at Orange the same way when you visit the regional jail. But anyway, Tom and I were in that class
were
together. It was
classmates,
the
yeah.
second year. It's so informational what our law enforcement officers are put up against every day. So that's coming along in March. Yeah, so if anybody's interested in being with the Citizens Police Academy, sign up.
I signed up about 7 years ago, and when they said it's going to be 6 to 9, but on Thursday nights, I thought 3 hours on a night, so. But literally every night I was there when 9 o'clock rolled around. I'm saying to myself, can we do this a little longer? I mean, it was just that good.
Robin, your
Do they
former
still
secretary.
have donuts?
Go ahead and shoot him, Frank.
Yeah,
That was a great program.
that's great. Thank you.
Shots fired.
They did have donuts.
Coffee and donuts.
On a lot of my invites.
Anything from any member of council under new business?
Mayor, this is going to sound like a shameless plug for Rotary, and it may be. I'm devoted to that organization, but today I think it's important to mention that we had Gail Manchin come and speak, and that may not mean a lot, previous First Lady and alum of Central Elementary, but what I think is important about her coming and talking today is people don't understand the position she holds on the Appalachian Regional Commission. If you pull up your map, that baby goes all the way up to New York, all the way down to Alabama, Mississippi. What state is central and smack in the middle, West Virginia? And I don't think anyone left that room that was not completely energized with the fact that President Biden put our prior First Lady in that position as a co-director, and she made no bones about this. There's money behind her power, grant money, that she has the ability to access for well-thought-out plans. So I can't tell you how many times community organizers and folks have come to us with problems without necessarily having solutions. Oh, and council was here, our mayor was here. I mean, we had folks present, and I need to mention that because I thought we were well represented. But what an honor to have someone in that high placement, a Beckley girl, who hasn't forgotten her roots and has just made it plain. Bring me ideas, bring me concepts that I can fund. Who says that? Usually it's just problems without solutions. So it was a really exciting day at Rotary. I hate to continue to plug all my organizations, but that it really just really put a bee in our bonnet to come up with some creative solutions now that we have people in power that can fund them.
Absolutely. Leslie Black Knight did a beautiful job with it.
Incredible. That food was incredible. You missed it.
Thank you, sir. Anything else under new business?
Oh, Mayor.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about, are there any contingency plans in reference to the water issues that we had here in the city and county?
Well, we've worked very closely with EOC. Matter of fact, we have another call tomorrow, I think, in the village.
Yes, sir.
For an update. We've had weekly updates. The western part of the county, I think, is still in that Glen Daniel area, maybe in the Leicester area. We were, all in all, pretty fortunate here in town in the city limits, but there are,
I know there's going to be meetings afterwards to create an after-action plan. They actually did a drill, I think the first part of December, that somewhat mimicked the problems that came about with this. I think the drill was a tractor trailer went into, carrying a, I don't know, what, ethyl methyl death of some kind, went into the water supply, and what they were going to do, the way they had to shut it off, the way they had to start it back. So this was not without having some sense of prior knowledge and experience in this. And it just takes time. It was kind of like the perfect storm, when you had one business that basically drained the tank at Prosperity when their sprinkler line broke. Or one homeowner that came back after being on vacation, and about 350,000 gallons had gone through their own water line.
wow.
So, and they're still finding leaks. So, there's a lot of things that have to be addressed in this. So, but I know once the after-action plan is out there, and I'm sure it'll be, made known to everybody on, what to do and what we can do to make things work out better in the future.
Very good. I'll take a chance to plug Rotary. The Rotary delivered, 4 pallets?
Yes.
Of water to those in need.
NAOM directly.
Yeah, so that was wonderful.
Just saying.
And our fire department, you all assisted too. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anything else under new business? Okay, we're down to public comments. It looks like we have 3 people signed up. Ann Parker?
Is it okay if I bring the mic?
Sure.
Testing, testing.
Okay, we'll give each speaker 3 minutes, please.
Good evening. My name is Ann Parker. I'm here to complain about the junkyard next door to me, 618 F Street. There are several junk cars and other things. Would you want that in your front door? I was hesitant to come tonight because nothing has been done. But I wanted you to look me in the face and tell me that you're not going to do anything about this situation. I want you to look at me while I complain.
I think you and I we've discussed that in the past.
For about 2 years now.
Right. Captain Morgan, have you looked at this? It's on the corner of F and South Fayette.
Yeah, it went to municipal court and should be resolved soon.
Okay. So it's in municipal court now, Ms. Parker. And, it's in municipal court now.
Well, will they do anything?
Yeah. What ends up happening, ma'am?
Pardon?
What ends up happening is that property owner's been cited, and they have to go to municipal court, and they may plead guilty, they may pay a fine. It's to be seen what will happen there, but they're in municipal court, which means it should be handled. But you feel free to come back and see us in the event that it's not handled, okay?
Who are you?
I'm just a councilman. I'm nobody important.
Well, this has been going on for 2 years or more.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm a law-abiding citizen. I have a nice home. I try to keep up. And I'm ashamed that the city of Beckley would allow something like this to go on. Would you want it in your front door? Would you even want it where you work at? No.
Ma'am, Fayette's a very important street. It's one with a lot of visibility. So I appreciate that you care so much about your property. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And there has been individuals that have been seen over in that area. I think they were hiding out in one of the cars or something here recently. Two or three people that were hiding, and it's right there on the corner of South Fayette and F Street. And it is an eyesore. And you have a beautiful home. And you and your husband worked hard to have a beautiful home in that neighborhood. And and I appreciate code enforcement for working on that. And hopefully something can be done. My favorite word, expeditiously.
I think we've expired our 3 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right, no problem. But thank you, it's in the works, Ms. Parker, and we'll keep you posted, and as Councilman Dunlap said, feel free to follow up with code enforcement, with me, moving forward, but we're working on that for you. And we're also working on we've seen improvement down at Five Corners, where there's a similar situation there, and he's been in municipal court, and we've seen vast improvement in the appearance of that business, which is kind of somewhere between the scrap metal and a salvage yard. So anyhow, we're trying to knock these off one at a time. Is that safe to say, Captain?
Yeah, I have probably half a dozen of the same situations that we're working on right now. So.
Right. Okay, thank you. Okay, Alicia Macias, is that the last name?
Macias.
Macias.
I would just like to add on to what my mother is saying. That is a junkyard at 618 F Street. I understand that you may be working on it, and I know that you all know about it because she's expressed her comments to several of you. There's drug addicts, there's rodents, I sent you pictures and an email so that I know that you know about it, and I have not gotten a reply. No updates, no nothing. So meanwhile, we feel like he's having a playground. He's moving the cars around. It's not even cars, it's pieces of cars. So while you're working on it, it's been 2 years. No updates, nobody reaching out, no responses. So we have a status, as you
you provided a status this evening, and we have to call you to find out what's been going on going forward? Do we have to call you to say what's going on? Because the cars are still there. In our eyes, nothing is happening. How do we know the status? That's my question.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If it's in court, if I may, I would be more than happy if we get some information. We can send them how they want that mailed to them.
Good.
Information so they can keep the status updated.
Yeah, that'd be good. Captain Kelly runs the IT department as well as municipal court, and he'll be glad to send you a status update based on the court records.
Correct.
And who is the property owner of 618 F Street?
That's, is that your brother?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's Joel Sofer.
So again, we're frustrated because it's been 2 years and it seems like it's allowed. And, you know, where is the code being enforced? It's certainly not on F Street. And I'm here tonight because my mother's in her 80s. Like she said, they kept a nice home, paid taxes, done everything. And then the junk is allowed to pile up beside their home with conversations with some of you. Yes, we understand. Yes, we know. Well, we'd like to see some results.
Yeah.
Mayor, if I might point out, the matter is in court, and we have asked the court to basically order the owner of the property to clean it up. And the court has some discretion there, and the court is looking at it, and we feel the matter is going to be resolved relatively quickly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies. Jonathan Moore. Is that Moore? Yeah.
Thank you for this time. I just wanted to touch base and see what, we've discussed the road conditions and drainage issues of Stifler Drive here in Beckley, just off of Crescent Road. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. I know that Thrasher had come in and assessed some situations and looked into some things. I just wanted to know your all status on where we stand with those complaints and those concerns we have for our road. If any new information of what may or may not be taking place.
I know it took Thrasher a little longer than we had hoped or anticipated for them to complete their stormwater. Billy or Mr. Fowler, do you have an update on where we are there?
I think the report's still with Thrasher right now, and we had talked to some stormwater people. I had a conversation, not a formal conversation about that, but they're still looking at the best way to abate stormwater if anything's done. So I don't have a formal report from Thrasher to give you.
Is there any way to kind of speed up their process of getting that to you?
Boy, I wish. We've got several, Thrasher's got several things of ours.
Because in light of the weather we've had recently,
Yeah.
the road conditions are actually getting worse. I know you said yourself, and we can attest to, the drainage is a major issue, is causing the problems. And we've been trying to figure out who's responsible for the road. And that's why we keep coming to you.
And the, not to pass the buck, but we have a similar situation in another development out near the soccer fields. And it's our pretty firm opinion that the original developer had the responsibility to bring all the sewer and stormwater drainage up, along with the highway, with the road, up to code prior to actually the first homeowners. Were you an original homeowner?
No, I'm not an original homeowner.
Yeah, but and not to slam the real estate industry, but somewhere along the line, it might have been nice if a responsible real estate broker or agent had said, we got a problem here. We got a problem. We'll perhaps work with you to go back to the original developer. That's where the problem lies. We have a similar situation out at Woodlands where they don't have streetlights. And that, in our opinion, should have been part of the original development that the developer should have provided. The city of Beckley's not in the streetlight construction business. If the homeowners or the developer put streetlights in, the city of Beckley will take that over on their tariff and actually pay the light bill going forward. But it's.
I understand all that, sir, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
information, but I just wondered, when the properties have been sold, the previous owners have already sold off, and I had actually heard about some financial issues the gentleman had prior. So his hands are clean. So trying to get back to him and see about having it repaired is never going to happen.
Right.
So I understand and respect all the concerns elsewhere. I just got to focus on where we're at with Stifler, and I need some information or guidance where we can actually go with this. Get the information in from Thrasher so we know what is going to be or can't be, so we can try to resolve this
Sure.
issue. The road's getting worse, and my neighbor next door, he's getting up in his 80s, and I fear for, emergency services needing to come in for any of us, for that matter. And I know it was broadcast on the local news one day after we came in months ago with you and spoke about this. And I need some direction for our families' safety to know where we're going forward. I understand everything you just explained. I appreciate that knowledge. I just need some help. We really need some direction to take care of it going forward.
I know there was a sentiment on council, and I think you've heard it from virtually every council member over the past few months. We want to help you. We're also constrained somewhat for the reasons I've mentioned, and the fact that whether it's a group of citizens who repair that road and get it to code or not, but in order for the city to take over the maintenance, which would include paving, repairs, snow removal, that road has to be turned over to the city in a code, or compliant manner. So that's kind of where.
So who do we find out has actual control or say over the road?
Well, that's an issue that it's probably a Mr. Fowle issue. Bill, do you have any comments on guidance from Mr. Moore?
Mayor, what you're saying is basically correct. This road is not owned by the city of Beckley.
Correct.
And the city has required all other roads to meet certain standards before the city would accept these roads. And this is the way it was handled when Woodcrest was developed, when Landmark was developed. The actual property, the developer had to see that they were built up to the standards the city requires, and then the city can take it over through action of council. The final say is council's whether or not to accept. There is a question as to how much, and if the city can go on private property, basically, and repair or build a road, because this is not city property. That is an issue.
But
What we
who
need to
owns-
see right now before we can make any decisions.
Where do I look to see who owns the road? Because our property lines don't go across the road.
Okay.
So somebody
Well,
owns that road.
Whoever developed that property initially is the one that owned the property.
So public record, I go up to the.
Right, I mean,
Okay.
it can be researched. What we'll do is, once we receive the report back from Thrasher, we can certainly let you have a copy of that, and we're glad to discuss that and try to see
That's
what
all I
what
ask
the
you.
city can
That's
do
great.
to assist.
I appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I make a note on that?
Sure.
I mentioned it when we had the workshop about it. Is this something we can look at in code enforcement and write up something where this doesn't happen again, where a developer cannot build the first house or not sell the first house, not get the permits to do so until the road's up to specs? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of homeowners aren't going to know this situation. They're going to get stuck, and we're going to be like this. So I personally feel like we should try to come up with a way. I mean, because you're going to have some developers that are going to go over the top and do things right, but then you're going to unfortunately have developers that are not. And that's not technically, in my opinion, fair to the home buyer, because they don't understand the stuff of a developer, a contractor, code enforcement, and stuff like that. So I would really like for us to sit down and try to find a way to fix this for future developments that would happen in the city. Because, I mean, I just, I know we got our hands tied in some aspect, and it really is a concern of mine for future developments and homeowners and home buyers.
It could be
Mayor,
looked at.
Mr. Reedy makes a good point. What we may do is folks who come in with the development that are non-compliant with code enforcement, It may simply be something akin to a Liz Pendence, Mr. File, that we file on those properties to notify anyone when they do a title search through a mortgage entity that they are on notice that they're considering purchasing a property. Because, and that costs us nothing. That's a $10 filing fee. But it puts, I mean, that way, if code enforcement isn't obeyed in those early stages, all the subsequent property owners they will be of notice. So, I mean, there's some creative solutions we can come up with.
And Robert, I think you're right. I think there are some issues we can look at and hopefully come up with resolutions.
Is there current wording in our code enforcement that makes that requirement? Bill, do you know?
Well, I'm not sure about the road per se. We can look at it. It is not and has not been a requirement for a property to be sold that the road in front meets certain specs. It needs to, and we need to look at that because that's what apparently occurred here. The house was constructed, or all these houses were, and then the property was sold to the purchasers. Purchasers did not realize that the road that they thought was a city road was not a city road. And they assumed, I think, that the road was up to standards, as all the other roads in the city of Beckley are that are part of our system. And I think that's where the real issue came up. This road was not built to any standard. It has not survived the usage. The winters have destroyed the road. And these property owners are in a difficult position. I think we all recognize that and see what we can do to try to assist.
Thank you. Amy, do we have anybody, these are only 3 people who signed up to speak in person. Do we have anybody who signed up online? We don't. Okay, so I won't need to make this announcement now. With that, anything else for the good of the cause? Okay. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.